Welcome to our defense briefing show. Today, we're diving into some intense and impactful stories from around the world. First up, a heartbreaking incident in Gaza. Israel has bombed the Holy Family Church, the only Catholic church sheltering the vulnerable, including children and the elderly. Sadly, 3 civilians lost their lives, and many others were injured in this attack, which has drawn sharp condemnation from the Vatican and global leaders. The ongoing violence continues to target civilian and religious sites, fueling international concern. Next, we turn to a serious security breach involving an IDF soldier. This individual has been indicted for secretly communicating with Iranian agents, sharing sensitive information for money. This incident highlights the rising tensions and espionage risks in the region, especially amid the recent spike in missile exchanges between Iran and Israel. Authorities are investigating, and over 30 cases of alleged Iranian influence have emerged since early October, showing a worrying trend of covert operations. Finally, we look at the shifting landscape of global power. The article discusses how globalization and rising China have challenged the traditional liberal world order established after WWI. China's economic rise, coupled with increased authoritarian control, has questioned the idea that free trade automatically leads to democracy. Meanwhile, Western institutions are losing trust, signaling a major transformation in global politics. That's all for today's briefing. Please continue to watch for more detailed insights. The Guardian reports that Israeli forces have bombed Gaza's only Catholic church, the Holy Family Church, which was sheltering elderly and children displaced by ongoing conflict. The attack resulted in the deaths of 3 civilians, including a janitor and an elderly woman receiving psychosocial support, and injured at least 10 others, among them the church's priest, Father Gabriel Romanelli. Witnesses described the explosion as massive and horrifying, with one survivor lamenting the barbaric nature of the attack. The church had become a sanctuary for those fleeing the violence, embodying hope amidst chaos, but was tragically targeted, prompting widespread condemnation. Religious leaders, including the Vatican and the Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem, expressed deep sorrow and called for an immediate ceasefire, emphasizing the sanctity of religious sites and the need to protect civilians. Israel acknowledged the attack and stated it was under review, but critics and international bodies, including the UN, have accused Israel of committing crimes against humanity by attacking religious sites and sheltering civilians, with some reports suggesting the destruction of over half of Gaza's religious and cultural sites. The Australian Broadcasting Corporation highlights that the Holy Family Catholic Church in Gaza was struck by an Israeli shell, killing 2 and injuring several, including Reverend Gabriel Romanelli, who was close to Pope Francis. The church served as a refuge for hundreds of Palestinians, including Muslims and Christians, and the attack has drawn widespread international concern. Pope Leo XIV expressed profound sadness and renewed calls for an immediate ceasefire, emphasizing the importance of dialogue and peace in the region. The church's compound was sheltering vulnerable populations, including children with disabilities, and the attack has been condemned as a blatant violation of human dignity and religious sanctity. The Israeli military claimed to be investigating the incident and expressed regret over civilian casualties, but critics argue that targeting religious sites constitutes a grave breach of human rights. The incident underscores the brutal toll of the Gaza conflict, with religious and humanitarian communities calling for urgent measures to halt the violence and protect the vulnerable. Yahoo US reports that an IDF soldier suspected of being compromised by Iranian agents was indicted after being caught exchanging information for money, with the authorities revealing that the soldier's communications included videos of missile interceptions and photos of missile strikes across Israel during a tense 2-week period of missile exchanges between Iran and Israel. Despite the sensitive nature of the conflict, the soldier did not possess security clearance, and the information he shared was not classified, yet he was aware of his contact with foreign agents and acted at their behest. This incident unfolded amidst heightened security measures, including police and military crackdowns on real-time missile site sharing and the scrutiny of foreign journalists, illustrating the ongoing shadow war involving espionage, missile exchanges, and internal threats. The arrest adds to a growing list of over 30 similar cases since October 7th, highlighting the pervasive threat of infiltration and the dangerous game of espionage that threatens Israel's national security. Deutsche Welle vividly illustrates the decline of the liberal world order, a system rooted in post-World War II ideals of democracy, free trade, and multilateral institutions like the UN and NATO. This order, once bolstered by the assumption that economic liberalization would naturally foster political democratization, faces profound challenges today. The rise of China, especially after its accession to the WTO in 2001, starkly contradicts these expectations. Instead of becoming more democratic through economic openness, China under Xi Jinping has intensified authoritarian control, expanded state surveillance, and suppressed dissent, revealing the flawed premise that trade liberalization inevitably leads to political reform. Meanwhile, globalization's unintended consequences, such as rising inequality and eroding trust in global institutions, have further destabilized the liberal order, leaving the world grappling with a shifting balance of power and the fragility of long-held assumptions. The Deutsche Welle's exploration of Berlin offers a compelling portrait of a city that defies traditional economic expectations. Once a thriving industrial hub, Berlin's post-WWI division and Cold War separation drained its economic vitality, transforming it into a haven for artists, squatters, and creative spirits. The city's poor but sexy charm attracted a vibrant community that thrived on affordable housing and counterculture, resisting the typical capital city mold of relentless economic growth. Despite recent surges in investment and startup culture, gentrification threatens to displace its unique character, forcing Berlin to navigate the delicate balance between fostering growth and preserving its cultural soul. This story underscores how Berlin's history with capitalism and its resilient unconventional spirit continue to shape its identity amidst ongoing transformation. South China Morning Post vividly captures Taiwan's urgent efforts to bolster urban resilience and civil defense amid escalating tensions with Beijing. The island nation recently conducted comprehensive wartime drills, integrating civil response and air defense exercises into a single urban resilience operation, simulating missile strikes, cyber attacks, and mass casualties. Streets emptied, MRT stations became shelters, and emergency procedures were tested in real time, demonstrating Taiwan's determination to defend itself against growing threats from China. High-level officials, including the de facto U.S. ambassador, observed these drills, emphasizing their importance in signaling resilience and readiness to the international community. From evacuations at airports to battlefield simulations on the Matsu Islands, Taiwan's meticulous preparations reflect a nation acutely aware of the precariousness of peace in a tense geopolitical landscape, emphasizing the importance of civil-military coordination in the face of potential conflict. BBC reports a startling act of vandalism on the Tyne and Wear Metro fleet, where a new train was struck by a missile-like object, shattering its window during a routine pass through Tynemouth and Cullercoats. This incident marked the first major attack on the recently introduced Stadler trains, which had previously been subjected to graffiti and defacement. including one of the earliest trains arriving in the UK in 2023. Nexus's operations director Kevin Story assured the public that all CCTV cameras would be scrutinized to catch the perpetrator, and the damaged train was swiftly withdrawn for repairs before returning to service. Despite these setbacks, the rollout of the new fleet aims to replace the aging metro trains by the end of next year, although recent weeks have seen technical issues like air conditioning leaks and door malfunctions, highlighting ongoing challenges in the fleet's deployment. South China Morning Post details a tense escalation in the Taiwan Strait, where the People's Liberation Army (PLA) has intensified its military drills in apparent response to Taiwan's largest ever Hangquang exercise. Over 4 consecutive days, the PLA's Eastern Theater Command conducted a series of complex operations, including nighttime flight training with fighter jets and early warning aircraft crossing into Taiwan's declared air defense zones. The PLA also engaged in electronic warfare exercises, deploying jamming drones and simulated cyber attacks, while naval forces carried out live fire drills targeting mock air and submarine threats. These activities coincided with Taiwan's efforts to bolster its defenses, emphasizing joint operations between air and naval forces, and highlighting the ongoing strategic pressure Beijing exerts in the region, aiming to counter Taiwan's self-declared sovereignty and demonstrate military prowess. BBC reports plans to lower the voting age to 16 in the UK, a historic change that would enfranchise millions of young people for the next general election potentially as early as 2029. Democracy Minister Rushanara Ali emphasized that 16-year-olds can work, pay taxes, and even join the army, making it logical for them to have a say in governance. The proposed legislation also includes expanding voter ID options to include UK-issued bank cards, moving toward automatic voter registration, and tightening rules on political donations to prevent foreign interference. While Scotland and Wales already allow 16-year-olds to vote in local elections, this reform would unify the voting age across the country, representing the most significant shift since the age was lowered from 21 to 18 in 1969. Critics, including conservative opponents, question the logic of allowing young teens to vote while restricting other adult rights like alcohol consumption or military service, sparking a lively debate on political maturity and electoral integrity. South China Morning Post discusses the United States' recent initiative to build new naval facilities in the Philippines, aimed at strengthening Manila's capacity to confront Chinese vessels in the South China Sea. The U.S. plans to establish maintenance depots at Oyster Bay and Quezon on Palawan, close to contentious areas like the Second Thomas Shoal, which remains a flashpoint between Manila and Beijing. While the U.S. insists these facilities are purely for repair and maintenance, analysts suggest they could serve a dual purpose, enhancing Philippine naval capabilities and paving the way for shared use in future conflicts. This move is part of a broader strategy to deter Chinese expansion and assert U.S. influence in the region. Despite Beijing's accusations of interference and destabilization, experts believe that China will likely respond with routine patrols and diplomatic protests, but will avoid escalating tensions, confident in its military strength and strategic patience, while the U.S. continues to bolster its alliances in the face of regional rivalries. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopsis thoughtfully curated by the 6DO team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6DO Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6DO team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6DO Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6DO Brief via email.